Joining us on the Fancast today is Brent Staker. Now, Brent, after a long time out, you've played a few good months of footy now. How good is it to be back?
Yeah, it's been terrific. Look, I guess the thing for me is just good to be feeling like a footballer again and playing football. And I had my 18 months out of the game and being injured and seeing both sides of it. So for me, it's really good to be back and really be enjoying my football and running out there and being out there with the boys.
Stakes, you've probably told the story about 100 times already, but can you just take us back through what you had to go through off-field to get yourself back into shape to playing and how difficult that was, particularly mentally, I think?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of things I could talk about, but I guess the thing for me was just that it was lots and lots of early mornings and lots of full days. And I know everybody works full days, everyone in the world has a job, a full-time job, but it's just a lot of hard days, a lot of early mornings.
With the rehab process that was obviously, as you just said, very long and extensive, were there any times where you actually feared that you might not make it back, or were you always very confident that you'd be able to get back?
Look, I had my moments at the beginning where you sort of question whether you can play that standard of football again, because in your time out of the game, the game itself has grown and it's sped up, and it's become a really physical and fast sport. So I suppose there was times where I thought that, but I guess once you start training again and you get through a pre-season, your belief and confidence quickly come back, and you certainly have that belief that you can play footy at the highest level again. So it doesn't really disappear overnight.
Mate, you must have been a bit anxious going into that first senior match back. I mean, I know that was about 10 weeks ago now, but can you tell us about the nervousness and the anxiousness of making your return to senior footy?
Yeah, look, it was a big build-up that week. It was wasn't a certainty to play. The coaches were still sort of weighing out whether I'd be right to come back in or needed another week. Very nervous, and you say you're nervous, but it creates a lot of excitement as well. I was that excited to be back out there, and I remember the first bounce, I sort of said to myself, I said, here we go. So it was just, it was a lot of mixed emotions, but definitely a lot of nerves. And then once game day hit, pure excitement running out. It was just a huge adrenaline rush.
Now, you had to sit on the sidelines and watch the boys have that horrible loss to the Bulldogs in round one and a few other bad losses from there before you started. And then it seemed that when you started in that Essendon game, since then, the fortunes, for the most part, have turned around. Do you credit yourself as the catalyst for that?
Good question. No, I'd be selfish to take full credit for that, I think. But look, it was just one of those games where everyone was on the same page, and the build-up throughout the week leading up to the Essendon game was terrific. And it's clearly from that game, we lost the two straight after against Carlton and Collingwood, but it definitely built some belief within. And we've been chipping away at sort of holding on to that consistency and that belief the rest of the year, and I reckon we've sort of nailed it. We're playing better football and more competitive football, and unfortunately on the weekend we lost, but we've definitely boys are starting to remember that feeling and how to take it into every game and how to play good, consistent AFL football.
And Stakes, have you got your confidence back? You've had 8 or 10 games back yourself now, and you've played at both ends of the ground. How do you feel confidence-wise and about your body?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I still a few times, around the ground where you sort of, you might doubt you might doubt some situations because you're still unfamiliar with that I suppose that instance or that contest because you haven't been in too many of them. But look, I'm feeling really confident. After being what I've been through and played the last few weeks, I've got no reason to not be confident. And for me, it really just comes down to fun. Like I just have a lot of fun out there and keep telling myself that going into every game, just enjoy yourself, have a lot of fun, and then take the contest. And if you lose it, you get up again and try and enjoy the next one.
Now, sadly, Sunday, what it did do is it did pretty much end any hope of finals. I don't know if it was something being spoken about by you guys at all, but do you feel deflated at all by the fact that that's no longer really a possibility, or do you still feel like the motivation to succeed is there as strong as it was last week?
It's definitely as strong as last week. Mathematically, there's possibly still might be a chance for finals, but we've still got a lot to achieve for the rest of the year, whether it's finals or just being a strong contender and take that into next year. And I don't think any team wants to finish the season on a low and sort of mosey on into pre-season. You want to go into pre-season with a spring in your step and ready to take another football season. So I don't think it really, obviously it hurts us a little bit in terms of our chances of getting to the finals, but there's still a lot of belief.
Stakes, I'll be interested to hear your take on the forward line. Like you've played forward quite a few games this year, and Brownie's career coming to an end and whatnot. Do you think that the club has to look outside and should be looking for another key forward at the moment?
Oh, I think it'd be silly not to look at options. It's hard to know exactly what Brandy's going to do. I think that's the position the club's in. They don't exactly know where he stands with his career, but I think it'd be wise for them to check out other options and see which players are probably interested in shifting clubs. But, with the 3 tools there, it's a good mix. And the 2 little guys running around, Zorko and Green, they're terrific. So, with Merritt, myself at times, and Brownie, it seems to be a really good mix for the forward line.
Do you have any idea how much footy you personally have left in you? Do you feel fresh and like you have quite a few more seasons left?
Yeah, no, I still feel that I'd have another 2 years, only because I've missed sort of that 2 years of football. So I've always sort of said, I'll miss 2, then I'll gain 2. I've always just gone off that theory. So, purely it comes down to how the body withstands the, coming back into the game with how fast it's become. But I think that I think I'd be able to achieve another 2 years.
Got any news for the fans out there, Stakes, contract wise? Is that all rolling along all right?
Yeah, well, there's been no talk, so I don't have any news, unfortunately, and I can't surprise anybody with anything. So it's I'm sure that'll take place once the season's over. And the clubs, they're different these days. They've got to work out who retires and what they've got a coach, I suppose, sort of, because none of us really know exactly what's going on with Bossy. So there's a few things like that need to be sorted out before I get my contract done.
Is that something you like to, because you had so long out of the game, did you want to get some footy under your belt first before you worried about that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I just want to purely play footy and enjoy it, because, you start worrying about that stuff, then, you might take your eye off the main picture, which is every Saturday or Sunday playing. You're playing, good football. So you just try and just play your footy and let all the other stuff take care of itself. And really, in our industry, in our sport, if you do play good football, then good things will come, and contracts are in that in that category.
It's been an interesting year for the club in terms of where the culture within the club is at, and if everyone's heading in the same direction. I mean, there's been some reports that have been a bit divisive. Obviously, Vossi's future was in doubt, and there's been others that have been quite strong that that the club's really building to something special. Do you have that feeling within the club when you're around the boys that everyone is committed to the same cause and everyone's on the same page, and that success really isn't far off?
Yeah, definitely. We've proven, I've been here 4 years now, so within that 4 years, there's been a few lows. 2010 obviously was a low, and 11, but the steps in the last 2 years, 2012 and this year, has been terrific. And I see it in the boys. I see that we're heading towards something, and that's always a tricky thing to try and predict when. But I definitely feel like we're starting to get our head around what we want to achieve and where we want to go. And it could be a matter of one more year. Unfortunately, it may not happen this year, but definitely next year or the year after, you'd start to expect to see some good finals, expectations, or some finals exposure.
Mate, it'd be remiss of us before we let you go to one of the reasons we hope to get you on this week, because it's your 150th. Is a nice little milestone to chalk up along the way? Yeah,
it is. It's been good. I'm pretty happy to have played 150 games, and it's something that I'll probably always cherish and really like. So I look forward to ticking that box.
Now, you are, just before the final question before we let you go, you are the host of Lions TV's probably their most popular segment, Footy Fix. Just wondering, is there any chance, this has come from other people who've told me to ask this question, any chance that we could see a Footy Fix symbol after a goal as a celebration?
Good question. Yes. You've got me thinking. Maybe it might be worth it. It'd definitely get a good run on Lions TV, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
on top of everything.
Charmo and Rockcliffe would be happy, wouldn't they?
Well, Charmo's the runner, so you could probably get us to he could wait until I have a shot, and then we could stand next to each other. And Rocky, of course, can't leave him out, and all stand next to each other and all do the celebration.
Look forward to that potentially this weekend against St Kilda then.
No worries.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Fancast today. All the best for the rest of the season and heading into what's shaping up to be a really exciting next few seasons as well for the club.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
This week for the Lions sees the reserves up against the Swans reserves. It's Saturday at 1:30 at Cooperoo. Those games are always crackers. In fact, possibly the best in the NEAFL, Lions reserves versus Swans reserves. Get along if you can. And then later in the night, Lions versus St Kilda at the Gabba. It's a 7:40 start. Our third last home game for the year. It would be great to get as much support as possible there, Mike.
Yeah, it sure would be. The finals are gone, but if you want to get out and support your club, this is when you've got to do it, isn't it? The Lions have been playing really good footy, very competitive. More than competitive, they've been a good team to watch, and you should get out there and support them, because there's not many chances left this season. So Saturday night, good time slot. Should be a competitive match.
I think beyond that as well, they've shown enough to suggest that if you go and watch the Lions at home, you're going to get a good game. I mean, recently, Gold Coast, North Melbourne, Geelong.
Couldn't ask for much in the last three, could you?
No, exactly. So go along, get behind the boys. You can get tickets from lions.com.au. We'll be back next week to look forward to the Richmond game, which is going to be a big one.
Sure will be. I'm picking the Lions this week, by the way. So,
you are? Okay,
yeah.
that's it's good. Is that a first?
Really going out on a limb.
First, yeah. I reckon Lions by about 30.
Yeah, I think it'll be around about that as well.
Yeah.
I reckon St Kilda will fight a lot harder than they did against Geelong last week, so expect a response from them. But Lions a bit too good.
All right, we'll see you on the Fancast next week then. Bye.
Bye.